Building a website in 2023 is incredibly smart. Whether it's for personal use or for the growth of your business, the importance of setting up an online presence cannot be overstated. I'm Luke, your friendly web creator, and for over a decade I've been designing WordPress websites and guiding thousands just like you through this process. Today I've got a real treat for you, my step-by-step guide on how to build a WordPress site without using code. Yes, you heard me right. By the end of this video, you'll transform from a website newbie into a savvy webmaster armed with the knowledge to craft your very own website. So, what do you say? Let's turn that dream of yours into a reality together. A fair warning, we're about to go into a pretty in-depth rabbit hole, which might take us about an hour. But if you're in a hurry, don't fret, you can always check out my condensed guide here. Still here? Great. But before we dive in, let's talk about some of the basic stuff. You might be wondering, why WordPress and how much does it cost? Let's break it down. Even with multiple website building platforms like Wix, Squarespace, and Webflow around in 2023, WordPress still stands out head and shoulders above the rest. It's professional, reliable, and favored by many. It's not just me who thinks highly of WordPress. A staggering 43% of all websites globally run on this platform. It's a website creation powerhouse. You're in good company. And you're never alone. There are thriving WordPress communities across social networks worldwide, always ready to lend a hand with any challenge. Plus, you'll find a pool of WordPress freelancers on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, available to help you with any tricky spots. With thousands of plugins and ready-made designs on offer, WordPress helps you create attractive, functional sites efficiently and economically. Over the years, I've built hundreds of websites, and WordPress has been my go-to platform for all types, from personal portfolios to intricate content sites. Among web creators, developers, and designers, WordPress is the top choice, mainly for the control it offers. This flexibility sets WordPress apart from other platforms. As an open source solution, WordPress ensures you maintain the ownership of your content. You can move your site and your content to another host whenever you want. It also lets you manage features, design, and even modify the source code as you please. In short, WordPress is a platform that you can shape to perfectly fit your needs. So, that's the why of choosing WordPress. Now on to the cost. If you're new to this, you might be asking, isn't WordPress supposed to be free? Well, yes and no. While the WordPress CMS itself is indeed free and open source, there are associated costs when setting up a WordPress site. You'll need to factor in expenses like domain name, hosting services, themes, a website builder, plugins, and so on. The cost can also vary greatly depending on your specific needs. Are you setting up a personal blog or a large e-commerce site? Do you require special features, custom designs, or high levels of traffic management? All these can influence your overall investment. Plus, if you need to hire a professional, you'll need to consider their time spent on building your website, which is an additional cost. Essentially, the sky's the limit on how much you can invest in a website. But here's the good news. In this guide, I'll teach you how to build a WordPress site for less than $200 a year. Now that's some serious bang for your buck. You'll also be building a functional, professional-looking website without breaking the bank. This adaptability and cost efficiency is part of the beauty of WordPress, so stay tuned for some serious value for money. Let's demystify what goes into a WordPress website. Domain name? Think of it as your online address. Hosting? Where your website files are stored. WordPress CMS? The tool that helps you manage your content. Theme? The visual backbone of your website. Website builder? Your construction kit for building and editing your site. Plugins, the special features to enhance your website. Back in the day, you had to buy these components from several vendors, pay for each one separately, install the component independently, and resolve any incompatibilities or complications yourself. Sounds complicated, right? Well, not anymore. We're in 2023 and we've got Elementor. Picture Elementor as your all-in-one website creation toolbox, packed with everything you need for a modern professional WordPress site. No more juggling between different vendors and wrestling with incompatibility issues. Here's what you'll get with Elementor. Elementor Hosting, a pre-configured hosting plan made to cater to your specific website needs. Hello Elementor, a lean, lightning-fast theme to give your website a solid foundation. Elementor Website Builder, a user-friendly drag-and-drop tool to help you build and customize your site. Elementor Library, hundreds of pre-made templates and designs to kickstart your website creation. Elementor AI, a smart assistant to help you with writing content, coding, and image generation. Before we proceed, let's dissect each component Elementor brings to your website. This will help you rest assured knowing that you're making the right choice. Elementor Hosting serves as a solid foundation, offering a hosting plan custom-made for your website's needs. It's pre-equipped with the WordPress CMS, promising a stable, secure, and speedy website. The basic package accommodates for an average business website, featuring 10 gigabytes of storage and traffic volume up to 30 gigabyte. Ideal for about 25,000 monthly visitors. With a 99% server uptime guarantee, automatic WordPress updates, integrated SSL security, to a caching system and backup options, Elementor Hosting caters to all the technical aspects so you can focus on your creative journey. What sets Elementor apart from typical hosting companies is the comprehensive solution it offers. Your WordPress website comes with a design kit, the Hello Elementor theme, and the Elementor Pro website builder plugin, all set up and ready to roll. Hello Elementor is a WordPress theme engineered specifically for Elementor-based websites. It's lean and efficient, free from unnecessary code, and loads within the blink of an eye, thanks to its minimal 9 kilobyte weight. Hello Elementor is trusted by over 3 million users and is the best WordPress theme to build upon. At the heart of Elementor is the Elementor Website Builder. This easy-to-use drag-and-drop editor allows you to sculpt every part of your website without needing to know how to code. Adopted by over 13 million websites globally, it constantly evolves with new features each month, bringing versatile capabilities to your fingertips. To ease your creative process, Elementor brings the Elementor Library, a treasure trove of ready-to-use templates and designs. From full websites, landing pages, to specific blocks and pop-ups, you're only a few clicks away from your perfect design. Lastly, Elementor AI. This AI assistant helps you generate engaging content, provides coding snippets for customization, and generates images and graphic elements for your site. It's an invaluable tool that simplifies the process, especially for beginners, ensuring you can focus on bringing your vision to life with fewer technical hurdles. All of this for just $120 a year. It's a deal that's tough to beat. Elementor places all the necessary tools for a successful WordPress website at your disposal. With Elementor, you're not just building a website, you're embarking on a smooth and enjoyable creative journey. That's enough preamble for now. So, are you ready to embark on this exciting WordPress journey with me? Then grab a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and let's dive right in. Together, we're about to create something truly amazing. Remember, if you have any questions along the way, don't be shy, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. We're in this together. To get started, the first thing we need to do is go to the Elementor website at elementor.com and click on the Get Started button to begin. On the next page, we'll see a variety of pre-designed templates or kits that we can use as a starting point for our website. Take a moment to scroll through the kits and see which one best suits your needs. You can preview the kit before applying it to get a closer look at the design. You can also see what makes up the kit. This fashionista blog, for example, comes with a homepage, an about page, and other templates that fits a content creator. Once you've found a design that's right for you, go ahead and click on the Start with this design button to begin customizing your website. Before you start using Elementor, you'll need to confirm your plan and create an account. We'll go ahead and skip forward a little bit using the magic of video editing. Having finished creating your account, you're ready to begin building your WordPress website. This is so exciting. Start by giving your website a name. I'll use Gabriel Cooks because that's the handle on his social media, but you choose whatever you want. You can change it at any time if you're still not sure. After entering a website name, click Next to continue. Now, wait a while the kit loads, which may take a few seconds or up to a few minutes depending on your internet connection. Now that you've created your account and chose the right plan, it's important to get familiar with your account dashboard. After all, this is where you'll do things like connecting your domain name and removing the site lock to release your website to the World Wide Web. Firstly, here is my website that I just created. Any additional websites will appear here in this section. On the left here is my navigation to access the main areas of my account. There are options for subscriptions, teams, FAQ and support, community. Here on the top right is my avatar, and here you can view and edit my profile information. Back to the website. If I hover over my website, you'll see several options. The first one will have you jumping in and editing your homepage using Elementor right away. And the second one will take you to the WordPress dashboard. I'll select Manage this website, and let's check this out together. This is the website management screen, and here you can connect your custom domain name and enable email authentication before you launch a website. Next, you'll find the site lock option, and as long as it's on, your website will be hidden from the outer world. But if you want to show your progress or get an opinion from your trusted friend, you can share this pin with them so they can privately view it. Down here, you'll see your website backups. Elementor Hosting takes automatic backups for you, which is very handy if you ask me. If you want to, you can still create a manual backup before you make any changes to your website. Finally, you'll see the debugging and troubleshooting options in case you need further investigation or if something isn't clear. But with an Elementor hosted website, you most likely won't need it. But just in case, it's here. Now, it's time to choose a website kit to start with. Start by hovering your mouse over categories and clicking it. From here, hover over Search and choose the category you're interested in. For this website, we'll choose the blog category. Next, hover over Fashion Blog Website Kit and click What's Inside to take a closer look at the kit. Scroll down to see all the pages and elements that are included. If you like what you see, click Start with this kit to begin. Wait a little while the kit loads, which may take a few seconds or up to a minute depending on your internet connection. Once ready, click Let's Go to begin customizing your new website. This will take you straight into the Elementor editor, where you can start adding your own content and customizing the design to suit your brand, which we'll see how to do in a bit. Okay then, you're now on your way to creating a stunning WordPress website. But first, let's learn some of the WordPress basics. To do that, let's exit the Elementor editor and go to the WordPress dashboard. We can do that using the hamburger menu and clicking Exit. When exiting the Elementor editor or logging into your website again, you'll be greeted with this dashboard. The WordPress dashboard is like the control center of your website, where you can manage all aspects of your site, from creating and editing content to customizing the design. Starting from the top, we have the admin toolbar, which gives us quick access to different actions and tools. These features change and update based on the plugins and themes that we install on our WordPress website. This handy toolbar is at your disposal on each and every page of your website, but it can only be seen by logged in users. Let's take a closer look at each one of the options. From the left, we have this WordPress icon. By clicking on it, it'll take us straight into the WordPress dashboard. And we can always preview our website by clicking the name of the website here. Right next to it, we can see if we have any updates available. We can also view new comments and have access to quick actions such as creating a new page, a new blog post, adding users, and more. We also have features based on the plugins we install. For example, Elementor adds this support option at the end of the admin toolbar. But we can also chat with support directly using this icon at the bottom right corner. Now, direct your attention to the left-hand side of the dashboard. You'll see a vertical menu with various options. Let's go over some of the key features and what they do. At the top, you have the dashboard section. This gives you an overview of your site's activity, including recent posts, comments, and statistics. It's a great place to get a quick snapshot of how your website's performing. Moving down the menu, we have the activity log, a valuable feature that keeps a record of all the activities on your website. It tracks user actions, content changes, plugin and theme activities, widget and menu updates, and site setting modifications. It provides an audit trail to monitor user behavior, troubleshoot issues, and enhance security. After that, we have the main event of WordPress, the post section. Here you can create new blog posts, manage existing ones, and even schedule them to be published at a later date. It's where you'll spend a lot of time crafting engaging content for your audience. Don't worry, we'll go into more detail about this section later on in the course. Clicking here will take us to the media library, and we can click here to add new media. Next, we have the Pages section. Just like posts, pages allow you to create static content like an about page, contact page, or any other important information you want to share with your visitors. We can explore comments by clicking here, and over here we have all the Elementor settings and templates where we can access saved templates, pop-ups, or go to the theme builder. We'll discuss this in more detail shortly. Oh, and by the way, if at any point you want to change the kit you've chosen, you can do that using the kit library. In the Appearance section, you can control the aspects of your website, such as setting up themes, customizing them, and editing the different menus. Under Plugins, you'll find a wide range of extensions that can add new features and functionality to your website, from SEO optimization to contact forms and social media integrations. Plugins are like little power-ups that enhance your website in countless ways. For example, Elementor is a plugin, and one of my personal favorites if we're being honest. Next, we have the User section. This is where you can manage user accounts on your website. And finally, we have Tools and Settings. Here you'll find various options to configure your website's general settings, including the site title, tagline, permalink structure, and more. Welcome to the Elementor editor, where all your wildest dreams come true. Assuming those dreams are web building related, that is. The editor is divided into three main sections: our content area on the right side, the editor panel on the left side, and the top bar. Let's start at the top. Well, the editor top bar to be precise. The top bar gives you access to different settings and features. On the left of the panel header, you have an Elementor icon, which also serves as the menu button. We can use this menu to access the Elementor theme builder, which is used to create site part templates. These templates append and override the current WordPress theme's page hierarchy, layout settings, and CSS styles. Remember when I mentioned page builders simplify website design? Well, this is why. We'll delve deeper into the theme builder in more detail later in the video. In case we make any mistakes, it's good to know we can go back in time and fix them by going through our page's history found here. We can also use this to revert back to previous versions. Underneath the page history, you'll find user preferences and keyboard shortcuts. User preferences allow you to customize the Elementor interface, such as switching to dark mode and where to be directed once exiting the page. Speaking of exiting pages, we can use this menu whenever we want to go back to the WordPress dashboard. Now, we can't really build a website without elements, right? Add new elements or widgets by clicking the plus icon, which will open the widgets library. These are creative elements you can use to build your page, like headings, text editors, images, videos, and more. Next, we have the site settings. Site settings, as it sounds, allows you to globally define your site settings from one place. We'll circle back to them later on in the course. Once we have a few elements on our page, it can get a bit hectic, which is why we can use this icon to display an organized view of our page elements. As we used a kit, we already have the content set up and named. Pretty cool, huh? Next, you can use the Explore button to access any recent changes you've worked on, or alternatively, use the Finder tools found at the right side of the top bar to find any specific pages. Or access the page settings. This area is divided into three tabs: Settings, where you can edit the page's name, publish status, and choose a featured image, and other settings. Style, where we can set the style options of the entire page, and Advanced, with advanced options for the page. Moving on, the rest of the options along the top bar, we have these device icons. It's worth mentioning that over half of your website visitors, precisely 51%, will probably access your website using their mobile phones. We better make sure the site is responsive and looks great on mobile devices too. We can do that by using the responsive feature found here, which will present the toolbar at the top of our screen. Here we can view or edit our page in tablet and mobile views and see how our content will react in different sizes. Some widget settings will show these icons as well, suggesting that settings can be customized for every screen. View page to see the live website and exit to go back to your WordPress dashboard. We can preview our changes, and when ready to take them live, just hit this publish button. There are other save options as well, which I'll talk about later on when discussing the theme builder. Now we're ready for the main attraction, the Elementor editor. This is where all the magic happens. As you can see, our content area already displays the homepage from the kit we chose. This is where you can add and edit elements that form the layout and design for your page. The content area is made out of two elements. The first element is Flexbox containers, which, as the name suggests, are flexible boxes that contain your page's content. Containers allow you to effectively build and design your page so that it automatically adjusts for different screen sizes. They are easily defined by the pink handle at the top of the container. You can also place containers within containers to create more complicated layouts. These inner containers can be identified by a thick frame and a Flexbox container icon at the upper left corner. Next up, widgets. These are elements that are used to actually build our web page. You have different types of widgets, and some are more complex and useful than others, depending on what you need. You can identify a widget by their pink frame and icon in the top right corner. Clicking an existing widget or dragging in a new one will change our editor panel to show the widget's details and settings. As you can see, this setup is pretty familiar to the page settings, only this time it's for a single widget. The first tab is Content, where we can add, edit, and define the widget's, content. These settings change based on the widget's nature and purpose. In this case, we clicked on a heading widget, so we can change the text, add a link, edit the HTML tag, and set the alignment. The second tab, Style, is where we can change the widget's style, such as colors or typography. The last tab, Advanced, is where the advanced settings can be found. It's pretty straightforward, not gonna lie. In this tab, we can set the widget's margin and padding, add motion effects, mask, and more. Kits are pre-made templates containing these widgets with the appropriate style and settings. I know it seems like a lot right now, but trust me, it will all fall into place as we continue. Now that we're familiar with the Elementor editor, it's time to take our first proper steps towards customizing our website. And for that, we're going to use a bit of style. Global style, that is. In the editor panel, exit to the site settings. This is where you'll edit settings that will affect the whole website. Our next step is to change the global colors of the site here. When crafting your website, consistency is key. Your fonts and colors should remain uniform across the entire site to enhance the overall aesthetic. If fonts and colors vary among pages and parts, your users can become confused. This can negatively impact user retention and may cost you sales. You can also use font and color continuity across your website to reinforce your brand and help users remember it. Every Elementor website comes with 4 main global colors, seen here. But you can also add your own colors and position them in the list to your liking. In this kit, we already have a few global colors set up for us. Each kit comes with a set of global colors and fonts and used across the website. So changing these values automatically affect every element using these styles. Since I already know the colors I want, I will go ahead and update the values. This kit is amazing, but it's too dark for my sake, or rather, Gabriel's sake. So let's begin by changing the background color first. When you change a color, its name might not make sense anymore, like this color for example. You can edit the names by just clicking them with your cursor. Once you're done, click Update to save your changes. Regarding the global fonts, we'll be updating them progressively throughout the tutorial as we proceed with customizing the website. As you can see, the website changes drastically with just a few clicks. Having adjusted our website's colors, let's turn our attention to another global element, the header. Hovering over it, we can see this has a green frame instead of a pink one. Whenever we see this, it means this element is part of our theme builder or a saved custom template. Let's make a few changes by clicking Edit Header. Now you'll see the frame has changed to pink. This means we're working with these elements. Clicking on the settings icon shows we're actually working on the header, all from the same screen. This header is pretty simple. It has one container with a logo and nav menu. Let's start by changing the logo. Click the logo widget and then click Change Site Logo. We can see this allows us to edit the website name and description, as well as update the site logo and favicon. I'll use this opportunity to update the site description to Gabriel's catchphrase, "Let's get cookin'," followed by uploading his logo and an icon for the website. We can adjust the width in the Style tab. Let's set it to 250 pixels and remove the height. Remember when I mentioned that we could tweak certain options for responsive design? This icon indicates we can adjust the settings for different devices, which is exactly what I'm going to do for tablets and mobile devices. Once you're done, go back to the desktop view. Alright, now let's move on to the nav menu. The navigation on Gabriel's website will guide visitors as they explore his content, so it should be both attractive and branded. First, let's add a little bit of animation to the menu text. When someone hovers over the menu item, we want it to rotate just a little bit to catch their attention. We can do this by making sure the pointer is set to text and the animation is set to rotate. Now, let's change the text color using new global colors we set up earlier. We'll also want to change the typography for the menu links to better align with Gabriel's brand. Seeing as we haven't yet updated the typography, let's go ahead and do that now. As you can see, this kit uses a global font called Menu Links. Let's update it by clicking the gear icon and changing the typography values. I've gone with Start Leeches for this one, and 22 pixels seems about right. Now, let's take a look at how the menu looks on a tablet and mobile device before we hit Update. We want to make sure it looks great on any device, so we'll adjust the font size and spacing as needed. Once everything is ready, hit the Update button and exit to the site settings. With the header looking great, it's time to move on to the footer. Let's start by clicking on Edit Footer. Right off the bat, you see that this footer is made up of a main container with two elements inside it, each containing different elements. Changing the text is always a good start, so let's click on the heading widget and change the text to something more engaging. How about "Let's get talkin'"? That kind of hits his catchphrase and will sure start a conversation. Next, click on the heading below and change the text to something that reflects Gabriel's friendly personality. Now, let's change the email address to Gabriel's official email. Looking at the link settings, you'll notice a wrench icon. This means this is a dynamic data or action. In this case, contacting Gabriel via email. There's a lot of dynamic information we can use. For now, let's focus on entering Gabriel's correct email address. Next up, let's add some social media links for Gabriel's fans to connect with him. We'll click on the icon list widget and open up the Facebook tab. Once we're done with that, we can fix up the final piece of the puzzle, the credit line. Clicking the credit line, we can see it's a text editor widget using a dynamic tag. Click the wrench icon to show its settings. This is a dynamic tag showing the date and time, in this case, the current year. This means the year will update automatically, which will save time next year.
Click Advanced and update the appropriate text. And that's it for the footer text.
Now that we've finished updating the footer text, it's time to introduce some style to it. It's crucial that the style aligns with Gabriel's brand.
So let's get started by clicking the main heading and heading over to the Style tab. Go to Typography and click the gear icon to edit the font style. This footer uses 3 styles, which are the primary and secondary fonts, as well as related post title and footer social. Begin by styling the primary font and setting the style of your choosing. For Gabriel's site, I've chosen Startlichis, which is a Google font. Whatever you choose, make sure it's consistent across all devices. Do the same for the secondary font. In this case, I went with Montserrat with a size of 26 pixels and change the width, line height, letter spacing, and word spacing. Again, making sure the style is consistent across different devices. You already know the drill, so I'll go ahead and update the post title and footer social fonts off screen. Once you're done, don't forget to update your changes, and done.
With our colours and fonts established, it's time to update the colour on the icon list, as well as the hover colour.
Do the same with the container's background, as shown here. This looks pretty good, but it's a bit stale if you ask me. Let's add some of Gabriel's flair to it using a shape divider.
Shape dividers are graphic shapes used to separate sections of a web page. They're great for adding visual interest to the layout.
Click the container, then go to Style and open the Shape Divider tab. You have a bunch of cool options to choose from. Since I know what Gabriel likes, I've already chosen the wave brush. Set the width and height that fits your design and toggle flip on if you need to. Now this is cool and all, but a little too cramped. Fix it by going to the Advanced tab and set the margin to 6% and the top padding to 3%. And finally, click Update your changes. This header and footer will stay consistent through our site. Now that we've done this, we can start editing our homepage by clicking here.
After customizing the header and footer, we're now going to stylize the homepage, starting with the hero section.
Click on the hero headline and change the text. As in with the site's description, Gabriel's catchphrase works for this. Then go to the Style tab. We haven't updated the global font yet, so we'll do that now. Once that's out of the way, update the remaining text and replace the image. Click the image widget and hit Choose Image. You can upload new media or choose an existing one from the media library. Lucky for me, I already uploaded the images I need. Let's stylize this image a bit by going to Style and rounding those corners by using the border radius setting. Next, update the remaining images, starting with the left one. We can change the size in the Style tab. Something doesn't quite feel right. Let's adjust this by using the Advanced tab. We'll be using the Transform option, which is great to make those tiny tweaks that make the entire layout better. We can use the Transform option to rotate, scale, skew, and more. In this case, I want to rotate the image a little bit. That's it, much better. Now for the second image, we'll update the image, set up the size, and no, this doesn't work either. I want to move the image a little bit, so to do that, I'll be using the position settings also found in the Advanced tab. Set the position to absolute.
Absolute positioning allows us to place elements anywhere on the page, which is especially useful for us pixel perfectionist folks. That being said, we need to use it with caution since custom positioning is not considered best practice for responsive web design, so we shouldn't use it too frequently. Back to our image.
This means that the element will stay in this exact location. Then set the horizontal offset and set the vertical offset. Great. Already the site looks more like Gabriel's site.
Next, let's update the bio section of the page.
Changing the global colors and some of the fonts already made a huge difference. All that's left to do here is change the text. As for the button, just a few minor tweaks are necessary. First, go to the Style tab and change the style using the global fonts and global colors. I also want to add a bit of space. We'll do that by using the padding. Now this is okay, but I don't really like the angled corners, so let's fix that by changing the border radius.
But that's not all. We want to make the button even more engaging, so we're going to add a hover effect that rotates the button slightly. This will catch the eye of our visitors and make the button even more clickable.
Do that using the transform option in the Advanced tab. But instead of changing the rotate option, go over to hover and change it there. Now the button will rotate slightly whenever the user hovers over it. Before we finish with the button, I want to resize the button. So let's go to the Layout tab and under Width, choose Custom and set the appropriate value. Pretty cool. Finally, align the container to the center by using the Align Item options. This is what I meant when I said containers allow you to efficiently build your page. By the time we're finished, Gabriel's website will be even more visually appealing and user-friendly.
Having wrapped up here, our next step is to revamp the post section, which will feature some of Gabriel's amazing recipes.
I like the idea of showcasing Gabriel's recipes here, but the layout is a bit too bulky. We need to scroll a lot to view every post, so we're going to have to change this layout. Also, these titles don't really work together at the moment. Let's fix that with a few simple changes. First, let's divide this long list of posts into 2 columns to make it a bit easier on the eyes. Clicking the post widgets, go to Content and set the columns to 2. Then we'll clean it up a bit by removing this date under the metadata section. Moving on to the Style tab, we can update the look and feel of these posts to better match the style we've already established for Gabriel. I also want to round the image corners, so under Image, I'll set the border radius to 50 pixels, and make sure to adjust that on different devices. You know what? I'll also make sure the spacing is set to 0 and adjust the content padding to 30 pixels.
It's already looking much better.
Now it's time to focus on the text style. We'll open the Content tab and select Typography for post hashtag. We haven't set this global font up yet, so let's do that now. You know the drill. While I'm here, I'll also set the style for the accent global font. Save your changes and go back to the editing page. The final step, I'll remove the spacing here and make sure it looks good on different devices too.
And that's it. We have Gabriel's homepage ready. Now it's time to update Gabriel's About page.
Simply click on the Finder Or you can use Command or Control E on your keyboard and then type About. Now click on this page to edit the About page. See you there.
We've made great progress on Gabriel's website, but now it's time to focus on his About page. Our goal is to update the page to reflect Gabriel's unique brand and share his personal story as a creator. But before we jump into it, why is it so crucial to have an About page on your website? Having an About section on your website or page is a must-have. It's like introducing yourself to your crush, but for your audience. It's your chance to showcase who you are, what you stand for, and why people should care. By sharing your story and values, you build trust and credibility with your audience, which can lead to more engagement, loyalty, and sales. Plus, it makes your content more relatable. So don't skip this section, or your audience might skip you. So, now that's out of the way, let's continue.
As you can see, most of the heavy lifting was made for us by changing the global fonts and colors. All we have to do here is change the content. First, I'll update the headings. I want something that captures the essence of Gabriel's mission, like, everyone can cook. It's a quote of a great chef, of course. Next, add a touch of personality and share Gabriel's story. Gabriel always had a passion for cooking, and it was nurtured from a young age. I think people could identify with something like that. But you know what's actually missing from this page? Gabriel, of course. The About page is a perfect spot to show yourself or show off your team, or even both. I'll change the image to show Gabriel and change the border radius to fit the style we've established earlier. As for the smaller image, I'll change it to one of the illustrations and make small adjustments to the width. Also, this doesn't work for me here, so let's make a few adjustments. First, I'll go back to the Content tab and realign it to center. Then, going to the Advanced tab, I'll change the position to absolute. This will give more control over the placement of this image, using horizontal and vertical offsets. And finally, I'll rotate it a little. Now, just make sure it looks good on all devices as well, and make adjustments as needed. Perfect.
With this first section taking shape, let's proceed to the rest of the page.
Scrolling further, we can see this section is a bit repetitive. It might have worked for the Fashionista blog, but for Gabriel, it just doesn't work. Let's get the momentum going by updating all the content here. Since I already wrote it beforehand, this is a simple act of copy and paste. Don't worry, I'll speed this up a bit using editing magic, so you don't have to sit through it all. Great! Now that we have finished updating the text, we can see that this global style needs a little update. Working like this can be helpful, as I can see exactly the effects of changing the specific global font or color.
I've previously covered how to edit it, but in case you need a refresher, you can update the global style by clicking this gear icon. It'll take you to the global style settings.
Then make any changes you like. And don't forget to check it on both tablet and mobile devices. I'm already here, so I'll update the style of the body text as well. Don't forget to update your changes and done. Looking much better. Next up, let's fix this image to show a bit more of Gabriel. I'll start by updating the image. This size doesn't work for me, so I'll adjust the width and align it to center. Also, I want to make it a circle, so let's go to the Style tab, Make sure we add a corner radius of, elliptical works too, but it's not what I'm aiming for. We can quickly fix this by going to the Advanced tab and toggle the Mask On option. This option allows us to set shape masks for your images, as well as add your own. But for this situation, the default circle mask is. Now let's update the small image using another one of Gabriel's illustrations and make the relevant changes. We also have this text at the bottom, so I'll update the content and align it to the center. Looking good.
Make no mistake, this is an excellent foundation, and it's completely fine to leave it as is. But I wanted to add something to show off a bit more of Gabriel's personality.
I'll start by adding more colors to the global colors. Specifically, red pepper and green lettuce. You don't have to name your colors, it's just something that I like to do to keep everything nice and organized. Now that I have more colors in my palette, I'll change the color of the headlines and make a few small adjustments using the settings we've learnt about before, such as rotate and offset settings. We don't have to repeat everything though. We can easily copy this style by right-clicking this heading and pasting the style on another heading. Perfect. Now I'll adjust the colors and the rotation angle. And let's just get rid of the offset.
Okay, having made some adjustments to the design, I'd now like to make a few changes to the layout.
I want to move this heading over here so I can add images later on. This could have been complicated if we weren't using Flexbox containers, which allow us to create complex layouts.
Flexbox containers allow us to place items in a column or a row, control their alignment in relation to one another or the container, and wrap items so that they fit comfortably on any device.
In this instance, I'll be using the wrap setting to make sure the heading is right where I want it to be. And I'll make sure to justify the content to the end. That way the heading will be on the right side of the screen. Perfect. Now all that's left to do is edit the rotation settings so that the heading rotates clockwise and fits better on the screen. Looking good. So we finished customizing the headings and moved them to the sides, but now we have these empty spaces on the page. This would be a perfect spot to add some more illustrations of food to better represent Gabriel's connection to, well, food. I'll start by going to the widgets panel and dragging a new image widget. Choose an image and set the width using the Style tab. Next, I'll make a few adjustments, making sure the style is kept consistent throughout the page. I'll add a bit of a rotation and position the image using the absolute options. Make sure to check your design looks great on other devices. Now that I have this image set up, I can just copy it and paste it here. Then make a few tweaks, like changing the image for starters and editing the settings to make the image work on the other side of the page. And again, make sure to check the settings on different devices. And we're done. Now that the About page is done, we can continue to edit another page on our website, like the single page template, for example. Same as before, use the Finder to navigate through the site. Search for the single post and click the first result. See you there. Welcome to the single post template. As the name suggests, the design we'll be working on will be used as a template for single posts on our website, in this case recipes and other blog posts. This means no matter what we design here, each new blog post Gabriel creates will have this design. Quite handy, huh? The first thing you may notice is that this template has a black background, which is the exact opposite of what we've been working with. Easily change this by clicking the gear icon, then go to Style and remove background color. Perfect. The following changes are also quite simple since we did most of the heavy lifting with updating the global styles. I'll simply edit the style of the post title color and also the post info. And since this container has a background that doesn't quite fit this style anymore, I'll remove it. We already established that Gabriel's style is more rounded using circles, elliptical images, and rounded fonts, so I'll round the image corners by 50 pixels. I'll also update the post excerpts color and the post navigation style, right here at the bottom of the post. Before we continue to the sidebar, this area is looking a bit bland.
Let's spice things up by adding another fun divider.
Simply drag the divider here and set the style you think is right. I chose the dotted one since it's the one that fits the overall vibe of the website. A best practice is to dim the opacity or hue of the divider as to make it not too distracting for the user. I'll also change the weight and gap. Looking good. Now that we've got the main post style out of the way, we'll need to make a few changes to this sidebar. The overall style doesn't match the primary part of the website and the typography clearly needs an update. I'll start by clicking the post widget on the side of the page and make a few small tweaks to the spacing, specifically the content padding and around those image corners, and image spacing. Now update the color, remove this background. Once you have all the global styles and main theme of the site ready, this is all pretty straightforward. The single post is looking amazing, and it has one last thing missing. People don't know who wrote it. I want to add an author box, but to do that, we kind of need to leave this page behind for a little bit. Let's save our changes, and using the Finder, go to the Users section of the WordPress dashboard. Every user on your WordPress website can be managed here.
WordPress is like running a bustling kitchen. You have different roles and responsibilities, each with a unique role to play. Think of your website as a fine dining establishment, and you're the head chef, orchestrating the culinary magic.
First up, we have the head chef, also known as the administrator. These are the big shots, the one with all the power and control, overseeing the entire operation.
Just like a head chef, they have the power to create, modify, and manage all aspects of the website. They keep everything running smoothly, just like a well-oiled kitchen.
Next, we have the sous chefs, or the editors, who are like the right-hand chefs for the head chef. They have the authority to create and manage content, but they can't tinker with the main recipes.
They assist the head chef and ensure everything is executed to perfection, just like those skilled sous chefs in a bustling kitchen.
Moving on to the line cooks, also known as authors, who are the backbone of any kitchen. They can create and publish their own content,
but they work within guidelines set by the head chef. They bring their culinary expertise to the table and contribute unique recipes and techniques, just like those talented cooks who whip up mouth-watering dishes.
Now let's talk about the prep cooks, or contributors, the unsung heroes who lay the foundation for every culinary masterpiece.
They chop, dice, and prep the ingredients, adding that extra flair and preparation to the dishes. Simply put, contributors can create and contribute content, but it requires a little approval before it goes live.
Last but not least, we have the diners, or as you can call them, subscribers. They are like guests, eagerly waiting to indulge in your tasty creations.
They can log in, leave comments, and interact with your content, just like diners, savoring every bite at the restaurant. They're the heart and soul of your website's community.
You can add new users, edit existing ones, or delete unwelcome guests in your WordPress kitchen.
Managing users in WordPress is all about creating a vibrant kitchen atmosphere where each role contributes to the culinary symphony. Just like a well-organized kitchen, you'll assign roles, set permissions, and ensure everyone works in harmony. Remember, as the head chef of your WordPress kitchen, it's your responsibility to keep things organized and secure. Wait, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, we're on the verge of adding an author box.
Let's update Gabriel's user information by clicking Edit. First, I'll update his first and last names. You can also decide how the user's name will be displayed, like showing their first name, their full name, or even a nickname. Next up, add a short bio. This will help readers get to know you better and add a more personal feeling to the article or recipe. The profile picture is set up by Gravatar. You can change it by clicking here and changing your profile picture on the Gravatar website. Then every website that uses Gravatar will have that profile image which is associated with your email address. All done, let's update our changes and go back to the single post template. Back in the single page template, drag a new author box widget right at the top of the sidebar. As you can see, the author box displays the information we've just added to the user. This data will be changed based on whoever is responsible for writing the article or recipe. Most of these will be Gabriel's, but this is helpful in a situation where you have multiple authors or even guest writers. Now, let's make a few changes. First, I'll set the image to be at the top of the box, align the content to center, and set the image size. I want to make this box pop a little more, so I'll add a background color to it, but I'll change the content style first, using the global fonts and colors. Going to the Advanced tab, set a background color. Yeah, and those corners need trimming too. You already know what to do with the border radius, right? Okay, this is good, but I don't like the spacing. The round profile picture makes it look too cramped. Unlink the padding and use a different padding just for the top of the widget. And since we're here, change the gap between the elements in the container's layout settings. Perfect. I love this new single post template. Next up, the newsletter pop-up. I'll use my trusty Find a Friend to go there quickly.
Now that Gabriel's site has most of the content set up, we need to let people know about it by using Gabriel's very own newsletter. But in a world dominated by social media, why are newsletters so important? Well, just like secret ingredients to bring out flavors in a dish, newsletters are a powerful tool to engage your audience. They allow you to share exciting updates, exclusive offers, or in Gabriel's case, mouth-watering recipes to his loyal fans. It's like serving up a piping hot plate of fresh content right to their inbox. There are several options to create your very own newsletter, such as MailLite, MailChimp, ConvertKit, and others. All of them are great options, but we won't be discussing them in this video. So, how do we get people to sign up to a newsletter? The most common approaches include having a subscription form at the end of each article and showing a pop-up when someone tries to leave your website. Consider this the last chance to communicate with your visitors before they leave. Fortunately, this kit already has a suitable pop-up. Our task is to simply tailor it to align with Gabriel's style and configure the form to work with Gabriel's newsletter.
Pop-ups work pretty much the same way as other pages and templates in Elementor, where the content is made up of containers. Using the navigator, we can see that the entire pop-up is made of a single container, with the container divided into two different containers. This allows for more control over your design and keeps everything nice and organized. I'll start by updating this heading content and changing its style. Next, update the form style. And don't forget that button. I'll also add a small rotation whenever a user hovers over it with their cursor.
Now that we've got that out of the way, let's choose the right container and change the color of the background pop-up.
Change the image to show the illustration of a tasty pie. And voila! This pop-up already looks great. Just a few more small adjustments. I'll round this corner by using the border radius here. And I'll change this close icon to better fit the overall style of the website. I also want to make this pop-up pop a little bit more. You can do that by adding an overlay background in the pop-up settings, which will dim the rest of the content. Don't worry, this overlay will disappear once the pop-up is closed. Let's see. This color might work, but it's a bit much. I'll lower the opacity. Perfect. All done. Save your changes and let's move on to the next step. Go to the menu and click on Theme Builder. The Elementor Theme Builder is used to create site part templates, such as the header and the footer, a single page template or a single post template, which we use to style Gabriel's recipes. These templates append and override the current WordPress theme's page hierarchy, layout settings, and CSS styles, and each of them has its own visibility options. For example, Gabriel's header is set to be displayed throughout the entire website, while the single post template is set to overwrite only on blog posts. But we can also decide to have specific templates for different categories. Pop-ups have their own display conditions, like the one we just worked on, which is displayed when a user tries to exit the window. The theme builder also shows us parts of the website which we may not have thought about, like the error 404 page, which many times goes unnoticed. That's a shame because it's quite a useful page.
I'll show you all about it in the next part of this tutorial. So let's jump in. Having completed the editing of the pop-up, it's time to tailor a page that's often overlooked, the dreaded error 404 page. Honestly, this page doesn't get enough appreciation. If one of your visitors tries to access a page that doesn't exist on your website, then they'll see the same message and it can be frustrating for them if your 404 page isn't optimized. We can fix that by creating a custom 404 page designed that matches the rest of your website and helps them get to the right spot. It's also a great opportunity to show a little bit more personality with relevant copy and careful thought out call to action. Luckily for us though, the Elementor kits, including this one, come equipped with an error 404 page. All we have to do now is tweak the page to match the rest.
As with all pages we edited until now, start by updating the text. Next, let's update the margin of the heading using the Advanced tab and adjust the bottom margin to -60. This will help position the heading in the right place. Now, let's change the image and use a mask for the image as well, like we did on the About page. Don't forget about the second image as well. Its position is a bit off, so I'll adjust it using the position settings in the Advanced tab. Next, edit the remaining text, making sure to adjust the margin as needed. Finally, let's edit the button and make sure to let people know that clicking on it will take them to the home page.
Keep in mind, we've previously styled a similar button, so instead of repeating the process, we can copy an existing style.
Save your changes and using the Finder, head over to the home page where you can right-click on a widget and click to copy it or its style. Go back to the Error 404 page using the Finder, right-click on the button and choose Paste Style.
It's fairly straightforward, isn't it? A basic copy-paste, or rather, a copy-paste style. You get the gist.
Now, let's adjust this button's margin a little bit. And done. Don't forget to save your changes.
Wow, it's been an amazing journey.
We customized our own homepage and pop-up. We customized an about page. We continued to customizing the single post template and finished with an Error 404 page just in case a user finds their way to a page that's not been found. Pretty neat, huh?
Next up, we'll see how to create a post using the built-in WordPress block editor, as well as how to create our own customized posts with Elementor. As I mentioned before, Gabriel aims to utilize this website for sharing his recipes, along with some personal narratives and updates.
At the beginning, WordPress was created to be an all-in-one solution for bloggers and later became the powerhouse it is today, used by web creators like yourself around the world.
This is why WordPress offers an extremely user-friendly method to add new posts. Given that we've already created a single post template, every new post we publish will already be pre-designed, saving us a lot of time.
All right, let's dive right in and go to posts. Every new post we create will be displayed here and can be sorted or filtered by author, categories, tag, and date. To begin, click Add New to add a new post.
Let's take a look at the layout.
If you've ever worked on a document, this layout probably looks familiar. Our content will be on the left, while the right side is reserved for our block and document settings. And much like Elementor, we have this top bar with various different options. For example, we can click on this icon to go back to the WordPress dashboard, or click on this plus icon to add a new block. WordPress uses blocks, which are quite similar to widgets. We'll go into more detail about how they work in a minute. We can also undo and redo different actions when working on a new post, and view a list of all the blocks we're using the document overview, which works similarly to Elementor's structure window. Next, we have the Edit with Elementor. This allows us to design each post using Elementor's capabilities. In the right of the screen, we have different publishing options and additional settings found here. That's it for the top bar. Now let's see how we can create posts. Begin by adding your post's title, then continue writing your posts. You can create another block simply by pressing Enter or clicking the plus icon. The most common blocks you will probably be using are the heading block, paragraph block, and the image block, but you can see all the different blocks that are available to you by clicking Browse All.
As luck would have it, Gabriel already had a recipe ready, and we're going to use it to see how the blocks work.
Clicking on a block will show me the block options, as well as change the display on the right of the screen. First, we have a block icon, indicating its purpose. Clicking on this icon allows us to change the block to a different one. We can move a block to a different section by dragging on it or using the arrow icons. Every block shows different options you can set. For example, this paragraph block presents alignment options as well as styling options here, while heading blocks shows the type of heading. Now, when we're done writing our post, we can set the post settings here. First, we have a summary of our post. We can set who can see the post once it's live. This is also where we can give our post a unique URL, which will only be possible once we saved it as a draft or published it. Next, we can add categories and tags to our posts, which help us organize content. We can also add a featured image, which will be used whenever we share our posts, and a short excerpt that will help readers understand what the post is about. Once we're done setting everything up, we can finally hit publish to publish it. And of course, we can always preview the post by clicking here. As you can see, the entire post design is set by the single post template.
But what if we wanted a more customized article? Well, it's definitely possible, and that's exactly what we'll discuss next. We can use Elementor to customize blog posts, and in Gabriel's case, recipes, by clicking Edit with Elementor. Let's do that now.
This will open the familiar Elementor editor and convert all the blocks in our post into a single text editor widget. But if we want to work with different elements on our page, we need to separate this text into different widgets. Beginning with the first paragraphs, I'll cut the text and paste it into a new text editor widget. Oh wait, it looks like the container is set up to display content in a row instead of a column. Let's change that by clicking the container and remove the direction. Perfect. Let's separate the remaining text into widgets.
Now that we have all the elements separated into different widgets, it's time to customize this post a little bit. Editing posts with Elementor is a great opportunity to use the different widgets Elementor provides,
such as adding an embedded YouTube video for a tutorial, adding a map or place recommendation, or using complex options such as showing a gallery or adding a price table. In Gabriel's case, I want to show off his personality in these posts, but the design and layout already looks pretty good, so only a few minor adjustments will suffice. Begin by clicking the container and adding a bit of spacing between them. Now for the heading, I want to show an icon next to the ingredients and instruction headings. We can do that by adding an icon box widget. I'll use the search box to make it easier to find. We already have the heading style set up in the global style, so all that's left to do is set the alignment and change the icon. First, let's remove this description. We won't be needing it. And set the title to Ingredients. Now let's change the icon. We can change the icon from the icon library or upload our own SVG file. I already uploaded a bunch of Gabriel's illustrations as SVGs. So I'll use this pear icon, change the position to make the icon appear on the side of the heading. We'll adjust the size and alignment in a moment, but first, let's change the title tag to H2. We'll change the size and alignment in the Style tab. Perfect. Now the first heading. Copy and paste the icon box and repeat these steps for the second icon box widget. And we're done. Don't forget to publish your new post.
When creating a new WordPress website, WordPress inserts dummy content to help us familiarize ourselves with the system. However, once we're familiar with everything and our site is ready to launch, this initially helpful dummy content unfortunately turns into unnecessary bloatware.
Back in our WordPress dashboard, let's go top to bottom, clean up unnecessary content, and set up some important changes. Let's begin by cleaning up Gabriel's blog from irrelevant content. Going to posts, we can see that the kit added blog posts. None of them are recipes though, so they have to go. Simply check this checkbox to select all the posts, and under bulk actions, choose Move to Trash. Then choose Apply. Great. Thing is, WordPress doesn't let us delete our work so easily, so it keeps all the posts we've deleted in the trash. Then go to Trash and click Empty Trash. Perfect. Next, let's make sure Gabriel's blog is in order by going to Categories. We have two categories, Blog and Uncategorized. Most of Gabriel's posts will be recipes, so instead of a general term, let's change the name to Recipe. In the future, if and when Gabriel designs to post something personal, like a story or an update, he'll have another category he can use. don't forget to update the slug too, which will be used for the URL. Next, go to comments and see if you have any dummy comments. Since we deleted all our posts, the comments on them were all deleted as well. WordPress usually installs a dummy plugin called Hello Dolly, which is meant to help users understand what plugins are. Since you're a bit of an expert at this point, you can remove it. Go to Plugins, search for the Hello Dolly plugin, and delete it. Before we can delete any plugin, we need to deactivate it first. Very good.
After that, we'll go over our WordPress website settings and make sure everything is set up right.
Going to Settings, we can start editing a few general settings, such as the site's name, site language, and time zone. We've already taken care of the site title and tagline earlier. Set the time zone to the area you live in and set the date format. That way, if you want to follow up specific activities or make sure about a date of a specific action on your site, you'll see the correct time and date in a recognizable format. And if your week doesn't start on Monday, you can change that here. Save your changes and continue to the next set of options under Writing. Here, we can see the default category for the new blog posts, which, as we can see, is already set to recipes. Next, under Reading, we can set the site's homepage display, as well as how many posts will be shown on the main blog page of the website. This is also where we can make sure our site is indexed by search engines. This checkbox will allow you to wait until the website is fully ready to be viewed online, so it's generally recommended to be left for the final step of building a website. Continue to Discussion. This is where we manage discussions on our blog. First, I'll uncheck these first checkboxes. These are old options that are irrelevant today. And if you want to avoid people commenting on your posts, you can go ahead and uncheck this third checkbox. You have more comments options below, and I encourage you to explore all of them and see what best suits your needs, since most of these are based on personal preferences. To set the default avatar that will be shown when people are commenting on your posts, in case they don't have their own avatar yet. And that's it, our website is ready.
And there you have it. You now know how to build a website with Elementor and WordPress. It's my hope that you've gained a better understanding of all the benefits of using WordPress and Elementor, as well as how simple it is to create a stunning and effective website with them. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials and tips on how to use Elementor and WordPress to create amazing websites. Thanks for watching.